Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Disney with the Ducks. Today, you've got me, flying solo, Jody B, all by myself. I guess I don't have a flock anymore. I don't know what happened to them. Is it a flock or is it it's a gaggle of geese? What is it with ducks? Anyway, but super excited for today. We have a special guest, one of my friends, Aimee, and Aimee did something kind of similar to what Lindsay and I did. She did a senior trip with her son. And so we're going to hear a little bit about it. And we're going to hear how it all came to be. So, Aimee, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, happy to be here.
So before we get started, why don't you just tell me a little bit about your Disney past? Like, how did you get started into all things Disney?
Growing up, my mom and grandmom, I have two sisters. So the five of us would just drive down from Jersey, and my mom would be the only driver. So it would be 3 days to get there every time. But we would go probably every other year for most of my life. And then when I became a grown-up, I started doing it my way. And my mom was hooked because we had always stayed outside the parks and, just kind of would go in a couple hours a day. And once I took her in, full immersion, staying on site, rope drop to close, naps in the middle of the day, really got her hooked. And then we roped in, my son, my sisters, their kids, and it just kind of took off and got more and more obsessive as I aged. So,
but you're not driving 3 days to get there anymore, right?
Well, I fly now. Yeah, I did drive in June. I went down with a friend and we did drive, and it was, I think, like a 16, 17-hour drive. We did it straight through the night, but I really like flying now. So
I hear you.
Much easier.
You get to the magic faster. That's the best part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you had a very special trip. I know a little bit about it, but our audience does not. So how did this trip come about and who went on this trip?
So we'll go back to my son grew up in the same town that I grew up in, and his childhood friends since, I guess, first grade. Very, very close, great group of friends. And we hit some hard times and decided during the pandemic that we were moving. And we moved a half hour south away from everybody, close enough to get there. But during the pandemic, we were socially distancing, and it became very difficult to stay a part of the life up there. And we did everything that we could to make sure that those friendships did, last through the move, through a pandemic. And the biggest part of that was when these friends from his old school went on senior trip, that I did not want him missing it. So I booked a room and, took him down so that he could have a few days with his old school.
And I love the fact that, their senior trip, they went to Disney.
Yes. Yes.
So how many guys were there in total?
He's part of a pretty big group. There were times between like 5 or so, and I think at one point they made a dinner reservation and there were 30 some.
Oh my goodness.
I think I heard like 30 some kids, like everybody just, it was their school trip. So we crashed it, and he crashed it. I avoided him at all costs while he was with his friends. So it was a great group and kids, one of them of which he's been friends since he was 3. They met in preschool. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. So you found out about the trip that they were going on, and you were like, we want to be a part of this. So
Yep.
Were they staying on property too, or were?
Yes, they stayed at I think All Star Sports was where they did.
And where did you stay?
We were at French Quarter, which is our absolutely favorite resort. So
I do like
complicated things a little bit, but it was
Good. So how far in advance did you plan all of this?
I've known I've wanted to do this because I'm Disney minded, and I knew that senior trip was Disney. I probably since we moved, I knew that there was a possibility of me doing that.
Got it.
And, things got better for us after the pandemic. We settled in, and finances were easier. And I had the ability to do this for him. So as soon as, I'm friends with his friends' moms. And I said, as soon as that itinerary comes out, keep me in the loop, because we're going. And I
Now,
booked it probably as soon as their down payments went in, we were booked.
okay.
We
Now,
were
did
ready.
any of their moms go too, or just the boys?
No,
Okay.
no, just me. Just it really was me chaperoning him down and letting him be part of that. And
Got it. So you almost had like a senior trip and a solo trip all in one. So
yes,
he had a senior trip, but you kind of had a solo trip.
yep,
I got this now. I got this now.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. We had some time together, but most of it, the goal of it was to get him with his friends, and to not miss out on that experience.
And I should say this trip was not that long ago. When were you there?
We were there March 12th to the 16th
Of 2025. So
of
not long ago at
2025.
all.
Yep, yep.
Great. Okay. So what day did you arrive?
We arrived on Wednesday. So the kids got there, and in retrospect, I probably could have planned it a little better, but I was trying to reduce the amount of time that we pulled him out of school, because they're excused from school. They're on senior trip, but for him, he was missing class with his current school. So I thought, we'll just take Thursday and Friday there. We'll get there Wednesday after school is done. So we did. We missed Tuesday and Wednesday with them, but we got there Wednesday afternoon.
Great. Great. So did he immediately go see them Wednesday afternoon, or?
No, we did one of his favorites, and it happened. It happened by accident several years ago. So Ben is very blessed that he gets to go to Disney with me, and he gets to go with his dad and stepmom and little brother. So one of the trips that he was with his dad, his stepmom had reserved Topolino's, thinking that it was a character meal, not realizing that at the time that it was newer, that the characters were only at breakfast, and she booked a dinner, and it became Ben's favorite restaurant
Oh,
on.
Ben is brilliant.
Yeah, so now no matter who takes him, there is a dinner at Topolino's, and it's a weird place to have, a 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid. He turned 18 after we returned home, but I don't know when we'll be back together. So I wanted this special dinner. The two of us got dressed up and had a dinner at Topolino's Terrace in the Riviera Resort. And we had some complications getting there. We had missed a bus. We ended up, and I thought, we'll just transfer at Epcot. And that didn't work well, because I have an annual pass and can cut through Epcot. He had a 3-day ticket and could not.
Yeah. I almost feel like they need to make a path on the outside of Epcot to link the bus and the
And to the Skyliner,
Skyliner,
or at
because
least
this
offer a
happened-
bus.
Yeah, this has happened before, where like they're like, oh, I've got a plan, and then you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
no, that's not gonna
Yeah,
work.
we had planned to do Hollywood Studios and do the transfer there, because you can't hop from resort to resort. So we went from French Quarter, and I mean, we just missed that Hollywood Studios bus. We're running close on time. I knew that it was going to be timely with the transfers, and we missed the Hollywood Studios bus. I thought Epcot, next best thing, and by the time we got there, so we were late. We were beyond the window of to get that reservation, and I walked in close to tears, thinking this is my last opportunity with my kid to have dinner at Topolino's. And I walked in close to tears, and no problems. They sat us, and we got there. We were there during fireworks. You get to go out on the terrace and view the fireworks. They're piping in Epcot's music, and it was like within that 15-20 minute window of thinking, I just blew this night, to it was magical. It was perfect. We had a great dinner, a great evening.
Okay, what did you order? I'm a huge
happened to get the steak with the what is the steak?
So I think it's a filet.
That's the word, filet mignon. Yes, we do that with potatoes, and it had changed a little bit from the last time we were there. The potatoes were a little bit different, but still amazing, delicious. I don't even remember what we got for desserts. I think I got some a tiramisu cheesecake, and he
Yum.
had, I think, like a chocolate cake. And I mean, everything. The service is great. The food is delicious. You cannot beat sitting there and seeing Epcot's fireworks out the window.
Yeah, that's awesome. What a
Yeah.
great way to start the trip.
Yes, it was
Okay, so
great.
that was Wednesday. So Thursday, does
Thursday.
this mean, okay, tag, go, have fun?
Well, more complications because the day that we got the itinerary, they had they switched things up. So I don't know, for whatever reason the school decided to change things, that when they were supposed to be in Universal Studios when we were traveling on Wednesday, well, now they flipped it to where they were in Universal Studios on Thursday.
Oh,
So that became a Ben and Mom day, which I was very thankful for. We had a really nice time. We did Magic Kingdom and Epcot, and I booked Guardians to do that together. We didn't do the Genie Plus, but I did book at least a couple of the individuals so that we, could do that. But we, hung out, rope drop,
so
hit.
he had a hopper. He had a 3-day ticket with a
Yeah,
hopper.
he had the hopper. Yeah, so we did as many rides as we could, and had a really nice day and had lunch together. And then when they got home a little early, because for some reason they don't do a full day in Universal. So as soon as they were back around dinner time, he did ditch me and headed off to Disney Springs
Got
to
it.
meet up with them.
Fun.
Yeah.
Gosh, a bunch of teenagers at Disney Springs. Whew.
Yes, yeah. So they did, but he was great, and he's not a Disney Springs kid. He's never really loved going to Disney Springs, but it was neat for him. And they shopped and they grabbed dinner over there, and then ended up going back to the guys' hotel to swim. And so the school has an 11 p.m. curfew. So the complication was he really wanted to go, and I wanted him to hang out. And I'm like, I don't know how to get you back to
Yeah.
me at French Quarter. And we had discussed maybe doing a lift. And at Disney Springs, he asked the bus attendant, how late do the buses go? And he said, at least until midnight. So we decided, okay. So he went to the All-Star Sports until 11. And at 11, he transferred back to Disney Springs, to where he came back to French Quarter. And I think he got back a little bit before midnight.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that's where it helps when you have a kid who's been there before and kind of
Yes.
knows it and is comfortable enough to get on the bus and figure it all out. So,
Yeah, I was nervous. He was not. He knew what he was doing. He was confident. It was the first time that he had been commuting by himself, but knowing that this was going to be a possibility someday, that he would be traveling without me. I've always given him the lead to, okay, this is where we need to go. Take us there.
yeah,
And kind of taught him to navigate, the bus systems, the parks, rides. He knows how to do it all.
that's great.
That helped. Yeah.
Good job, Mama.
Thank you.
Okay, so it sounds like it was a full day that for
Yeah.
certain, like you
Mhm.
hit 2 parks and then he went to go hang out with his friends and then,
Yeah.
got back. So that's an exciting
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's technically your second day, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah. We're
yes.
there for a little bit on Wednesday. So
Okay.
first full day, but the second day there.
All right. So now it's Friday, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, so Friday morning. Now
Yeah.
he's going off with his friends.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So where did they go?
They were in Hollywood Studios on Friday.
Okay. So he had just been there 2 days in a row. Lucky
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah. So
He's like, "Yeah, let me show you around."
yeah, I mean, he knows all of it. But yeah, the kids did have hoppers as well, but they would start in certain parks.
Okay.
Yeah, we got up early. We were both rope dropping our respective parks. I think I went to Animal Kingdom that first day by myself. So, we walked to the bus stop together and high-fived, and each got on our buses and went our separate ways. And I do track him just because I am a little bit anxious of a mom. So I do have his location on my phone. He is ours, the whole family's connected. And so I could see where he was, made sure he was getting where he needed to be safely. And yeah, and I did use that tool when park hopping to make sure that I was not going to a location because he doesn't want mom with all his friends. And I'm sure they would have been great. I had wished, I'm like, oh, I bet your friends would go on a ride with me. Like we could get a ride photo. And he's like, absolutely not. So I made a point to avoid them and let them have, senior trip. They didn't want a mom there.
So did you give him charging privileges then on his Magic Band so he could feed himself and all that good stuff?
So I did a gift card,
Oh,
which,
that's smart.
yeah. So I do I do the Target trick to where you save 5% with your red card.
Mhm.
So what I'll do is I like to go on disneygiftcard.com and get a neat, like a different card, because all the ones that you buy in the stores, the red ones, the purple ones, they all look alike. So I'll pick out one on disneygiftcard.com for $25 and get that for the kids' wallets. And then I can load it through disneygiftcard.com and I can reload it with my Target gift cards that I get at discount.
That's very smart. That's a great tip. I don't think I've ever heard that before, but that's
Oh,
a
no? Yeah.
tip. So this past weekend, actually, it may still be going on today. I don't know if they sold out, but
Mhm.
Sam's was having a big
Yeah.
discount on them. So I gobbled up those because I was like, yep.
Yep. Yeah. You can combine them up to $1,000 on each card. So if you go through disneygiftcard.com and enter them in, you can, consolidate, move things around. And that's how I was managing his money. And I would pop on and look and see, did he have sufficient amount? Text me if you need to get a souvenir that's more than what you have, or whichever. So I just managed it and transferred through the gift card. So he had that in his wallet with him
That's
at all
great.
times.
That's really smart.
Thank you.
All right. So you went to Animal Kingdom. What did you do that day?
I tried to hit this was the day. Oh, this was the day. Um, I was trying, so I didn't start at Animal Kingdom. I started at Magic Kingdom on Friday. I okay. I had this weird goal, knowing that I was going to be by myself. I thought, what can I do? And I've been there, very fortunate to have the annual pass this year. I've been there for some race weekends. I went with a friend in June, just to, have a mom's weekend there. And I've been there. I've done a lot of it. And this was my first chance to really be laid back and enjoy it and not have to do all the things. So one of my goals was I wanted to read in each of the parks. And another one was, well, you get the ads and a lot of the blogs and stuff will come out. And I had seen for the Epcot Festival that they had a warm corn cookie. And I'm thinking, well, this is a little weird, but why are people using corn to make desserts? And, I'd have, I'd seen some other things. So I started really looking at it and realized that there's corn themed food everywhere, like desserts, snacks, sweet stuff, savory stuff. It became a goal to do 4 parks, to read in each park, and to have something corn themed in each park.
Maybe
And
I
I'm,
should
I'm
rename
not even
this
a
trip
big
report
corn
Amy's
person.
Getting Corny.
There you go. There's your dad joke.
Oh, there we go. Now I'm done. I don't have to do any more. So there we go. Amy's getting horny.
Yay!
All of
Yeah,
her comments.
icon.
So this was I remember when you were telling us about this.
Yes.
So you did some research because you had to figure this all out. Which
I
items had corn and where they were, and some were
Yes.
there for the festival. So okay, so you started it at Magic Kingdom.
I did. I started at Magic Kingdom,
What
and
was there?
I rope dropped. I rope dropped Space Mountain, and then, did a couple rides, and I ended up, there is a sweet corn mousse at Pecos Bill Cafe. So it's interesting. It looks like It looks like a half a cob of corn. And I mean, it looks like corn. It looks delicious, but it's a sweet like cream mousse, and it had white chocolate drizzle and raspberry powder on it, and it was delicious. So I ate that, and
Was
just
that seasonal or is that there all the
I
time?
think that's full time.
Oh,
And I
okay.
have no
Everybody
idea
has
how
to
I'd
take this
never heard
course.
of it before. Yeah. So I'm like, this, okay. So we had that. That was breakfast. It was I think I had that and a Diet Coke. And it was really good. And I just sat down and enjoyed, Frontierland, and got to, yeah, had my sweet corn mousse, and then did a couple rides, and that's when I hopped over to Animal Kingdom after that. So Animal Kingdom was one that I had seen before, that I didn't have to research this one. It had come up, just social media. Somebody had posted a picture of this, and they have it's called the Amazing Magic Munch Fries.
Ooh.
And it is French fries topped with sweet corn, chipotle mayonnaise. What else? This chili lime spiced. I cannot pronounce the name of that cheese. Codija
Oh
cheese.
yeah. It's like a
And
Mexican crumbly cheese. Yes.
yes, and popcorn.
Where in Animal Kingdom was this?
This is at Restaurantosaurus,
Oh,
which
oh,
sadly, I mean,
rest in
I don't,
peace. Yeah.
yes. So I don't know where they're going to have it, after all these changes. But
Okay. I'm so intrigued. How was this?
this was amazing. It was delicious. It was better than I anticipated. And I was thinking, some foods, I love Disney. Some of their foods are just okay.
Yeah.
This, I ate every last bit of it. It was delicious. Absolutely delicious. So I was very content, with my fries. Did that, then hit a couple rides. And I read, so the reading challenge as well. In Magic Kingdom, I had read on the People Mover. And at Animal Kingdom, I went into the area where the kites used to be,
Mhm.
across from Expedition Everest. I was able to sit and read there. So did my corn, you know, achieved my corn stop, and then sat and read, a couple pages just to immerse myself and relax and read a book in Disney, because who does that? So yeah,
I
that
love
was,
that though. I
yeah,
absolutely love it.
there are so many areas. And the thing is, I've not, especially the personality that Ben and I have, where we are go, go, go. We are rope drop to park close. We'll take a break in the middle of the day sometimes, but we are trying to get on as many rides as possible. It's just, he wants to hit everything every day. And to not do that was, to find a quiet place to sit and hear the music and just relax and, read some, or just, people watch and take it in. It was incredible.
One of my
It was
favorite
really
days
nice.
that I ever had in the parks, Tim was there for a work trip, and I just got to sit and just watch. I love
Yes.
watching in the park. Love it.
Yes.
It's so fun. But
Yeah.
bringing a book is really smart, but I think I'd be too like, when I'm here at the house, I have to remove myself from everyone when I
Yeah.
go to read because I get way too distracted, like, "Wait, what did you say?" Or
That's
so I think at Disney, I'd be like, "Oh, who's that person that just walked by? Oh,
yeah.
what are they eating? Oh, that family's fighting. Oh, that family is, like, all happy." Like, I think I'd just be like, "Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel,
Yes.
squirrel."
And that's why I only got through, I made a point to get through a couple of pages, but, a chapter apart was not,
Oh, yeah.
it would have been a great goal, but it was not.
I'm reading right now, the chapters are, I love it because I feel like I'm getting so much accomplished. They're like 3 or 4-page chapters. I'm like, I'm loving it because it's
Yes.
everyone is from a different perspective, so I feel like I'm really zipping through it even though I'm
Uh-huh.
not, but in my brain, I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really flying
Yeah.
through this."
Yeah, the mind games that you can play. But yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the chapters I had, were some of them were a little bit longer. So I just, I sat and I'm like, I'll read a couple pages until my brain starts like not connecting to it anymore. And then we would just pack up and hop to the next one.
Okay, so you started at Magic Kingdom and you had your corn mousse there. Then you went to Animal Kingdom and you had your corn fries there,
I
and both
did.
parts were red. Now where did you go? What was next?
Next was Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
So Hollywood Studios was hard. That I there's not a lot of corn stuff in that one.
Hmm.
Corn everywhere else. But Hollywood Studios, I found at Galaxy's Edge in Docking Bay 7, which is it's a quick service. Everything, was quick service for the corn challenge. I found a blueberry corn muffin.
Oh.
So I'm like, simple enough, and I love corn muffins and blueberry. This sounds great. And I, put the order in. I did the mobile order, and I got to the counter, and the girl said, this is my favorite. She goes, that was a really good choice. And I said, funny story. So I'm doing a corn challenge, and I explained to the girl there, and she said, hold on. Have you ever had our sweet corn relish, which was not on a menu at all? It's a side dish. So I had not seen this as an option. I didn't know anything about it. And she goes, have you had that? I said, no. She goes, it's incredible. She goes, another one of my favorites on the menu. Give me just a minute. So she did. I got pixie dusted, which completely made my day. She pixie dusted me. It is a relish of sweet corn, shishito peppers.
Mhm.
I should learn to pronounce these before I come on a podcast.
No, I love shishito peppers. Yeah.
I get, but the jicama,
I
Jicama.
always say yakima, but I don't think that's right. So,
Okay,
so I'm probably saying it wrong all the time. So,
but that we're gonna go with that. Jicama,
I,
plantains and cilantro.
oh, those sound great. And
It
so not a lot of people like Docking Bay 7. I love Docking Bay
it
7.
was delicious, and I had not been there before because I usually eat in other areas of the park, and I love Star Wars, but I'm not, a complete Star Wars nerd. So while I appreciate it, I'm over, the commissary or, backlot somewhere is where I normally will grab something to eat. Um, so this, I loved the ambiance of it. I loved it. It's a really neat place to eat. There was an outside area that I didn't realize. I saw it as I was leaving that also incredible seating there, but I really enjoyed myself. And I'm lucky because I travel for work now. I've done that for a few years to where I have developed a comfort of sitting and eating by myself. Just people watch it and do that. So I pulled up a table and sat in Docking Bay 7 and enjoyed my sweet corn relish and my blueberry corn muffin. And they were really good. They were delicious.
Last time I was in there by myself, I struck up a conversation with the people next to me who
Mhm.
happened to also be run Disney runners. And it
Perfect.
was during, I don't think,
Wasn't a race weekend.
I don't know, maybe it was, I can't remember, but yeah, it's just fun. You just never know who you're going to chat with. And
Mhm.
like, I love it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the food there. There are 3 things that I love on that menu that I can't get enough of. So
Okay.
I really liked it. So I'm
I'll
glad
have
that
to go back and get
you had
there more.
two corn things there.
Two
Who knew?
corn things there.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bonus
Which did you
pixie
like
dust.
better, the relish or the muffin?
I don't know because I inhaled them both. Like I cleaned my plate with everything I ate that day, which and again, like corn's cool. I'm great with it. It's been a great side dish, but I've never really just, I'm not like a huge corn person like that you would think to take on a challenge like this.
Well, it deserves its day in the
It
sun,
did,
in the spotlight. So there you
yeah,
go. You
just
you you elevated it to give it its own.
quirky little challenge. Yeah.
Okay. So did you ride any rides there or did you just go to eat?
I did, I think Toy Story Mania, I did, and the thing is too, I had all day and I was by myself and I've done everything and I've done everything recently that I didn't mind waiting in lines
Yeah.
and, making friends in line and talking to people. So um, I did a couple rides there. I did, Tower of Terror. I did that, and then I took my book over and sat with Gertie a little bit and read with Gertie, which was one of my favorite places
Oh, that's a great place to read.
yeah, I absolutely love her. So it was nice and just sat in the sun, sat on the wall and perched and relaxed and yeah,
That's awesome.
digested my corn.
You had books and corn there and a couple of rides.
Uh-huh.
How did you finish? I'm assuming you went to Epcot. So we go
Did. Then it was over to
we
Epcot.
went back to a different park, but I'm guessing that's where you went.
Yes, yeah. So Epcot is another challenge. I mean, there were so many hurdles and challenges of that trip, but it all did, it all worked out and everything was fantastic. But I was in line to get my sweet corn cookie, which was the reason for this corn challenge. And I realized the place that I had gone was a split seasonal menu. So Epcot has the
Oh,
Food and
yeah.
Garden Festival, and I
Mhm.
forget where it was. It was over, I think in Communicore Hall. There was one of the places,
Mhm.
and the warm corn cookie was not available until May, and we were there in March.
Mm.
So it was a quick scramble, and I'm looking on the menu, and I didn't see anything, and so I ducked out of line, and was on, on the app and looking frantically, and I found they had Mexican street corn,
Mhm.
which for some reason I've never had.
Oh, it's so yummy.
So it's a plant-based cheese. Everything's plant-based on this one, and I could probably eat 10 of them. It was incredible. It didn't like the cheese still tasted like full-blown cheese. I grabbed the Mexican street corn and hopped over to the area with the people who are playing bean bags. There was a band up there, or a DJ, and it was just vibing. It was I just sat there with, my corn and like bopped along to the music and watched people dancing and playing bean bags, and it like that area is incredible. And the Mexican street corn was phenomenal. Um, so I finished that and then went over to the little Adirondack chairs in the new area by Walt. Um, Went and read some book there.
I was like, if there's ever a place to read, that is it.
And that's the reason that got in my head that someday I'd love to read a book in Disney. I had been there for a work trip I was down for work and just popped in the parks after work one night to get dinner and saw people working there. I think there was a girl knitting, sitting in one of those chairs, and I'm like, to be able to come here and just relax. Like who goes to Disney to relax? And it was like it triggered in my head that would be a goal someday to do it. So I did. I achieved it and sat back in the chair, and a lot of it was just listening to the music. The background music there is so relaxing and so nice. So I did. I read there, and that's when I decided to get my last corn item, which I did. So I went to La Cava, and La Cava does have a corn old fashioned.
Oh.
But I'm not a big drinker, and I didn't want to be off my rocker. So I decided I went for, just a margarita. But I did, it's called the Wild One. So it's a Blanco tequila with orange liqueur, ginger rum, a corn passion fruit cordial, and lime juice.
Oh.
So it was mezcal, grenadine, and hibiscus salt rim. That was delicious. Had a little bit of a buzz from that one. But it was a nice way to seal off the last corn entry of the evening.
This is so fun. I love that you came up with this and that you did this.
Yeah, it's so quirky, and I am a very quirky person.
Yeah,
So
but it's just unique. And when
that's
you go to the parks and you have the opportunity to go often,
yeah,
it's nice to put a spin on
yeah,
it. You're never gonna forget, like, oh, that was the
yeah,
corn challenge trip,
yeah.
where I read also.
Corn and reading, yeah. It
Yeah.
was such a weird thing to do, but I absolutely enjoyed it. And I talked, a few people that I would strike up conversations with, and I'm like, hee hee, like I'm doing this little challenge. But it made me think too, like there's gotta be so many other themes that you can pick. Everybody likes to do these 4-park challenges where it's, you're picking rides and attractions, and start theming them, start trying different themes, and you
That's
never
so
know what you can come up with.
that's so fun. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you ever see Ben this day?
Not until midnight.
Okay.
when he did the same, they were in the parks until they were allowed back to the hotel to swim. So he went back to the hotel again to swim, and it it was not a warm week. It was very chilly. I had shorts on all week, and during the day it was beautiful, but in the mornings and the evenings I was in a jacket, and here's these kids that having the time of their lives swimming in the in the chilly evenings. But yeah, he went back to the hotel and swam with them, and this time Magic Kingdom had the deluxe magic hours. So Magic Kingdom had buses running, and I think until like 1 in the morning. So he just used that to hop. And I watched him at 11. I saw him leave All Star Sports on the tracker, and got to Magic Kingdom, and then knew he was on the bus on the way back to me. And so he strolled in again at midnight. So it was, yeah,
Awesome.
he had a great day, a really good time with them. And I also, I connected with them with a couple of his friends. So I was able to see their photo pass and see some of the ride pictures that they
Oh,
had.
good.
Yeah.
That's great.
So they were definitely having a great time with that.
Good. As
Yeah.
they should be. Senior trip.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay. So when Saturday, your last day?
Saturday was our last day there. We left Sunday morning. But yeah, so Saturday we had a full day, and his friends were leaving Saturday evening.
Okay.
So he did, but we woke up. I went, I think I rope dropped Animal Kingdom Saturday. So I was, in there so that I hit all 4 parks again because I'm apparently crazy.
You
Uh,
are.
but so was it Friday night? I ended up back after Epcot, had my little buzz. I took the Caballeros boat tour, and then went to Magic Kingdom and saw fireworks, and was
Wow.
able to do that. Yeah. So
See,
that was fantastic. So
that's
Saturday I did all 4 parks again. So I did 5, I guess, technically, since I did Magic Kingdom twice. Um, but yeah, started off, he went to, they were in Epcot Saturday, started, and they were hopping around too. Like they were going wherever they wanted. The Friday night was the night they ate at Mama Melrose in the big group, which I'm impressed that it was the kids that did it. The kids booked these. They didn't have any parents helping. And
that is impressive.
yeah, the running joke with the moms was that I should have been there that night that all those kids were getting together to make the reservations, just because they know that I'm obsessed. But they did. They handled it on their own, and they did a great job. So they all, and the kids collared shirts. They dressed up for dinner, like
Oh, I
super
love it.
cute. Yeah, they did a great job. So they done that. So Epcot, they started Saturday morning. And they'd hopped that day and done a couple things. So I was making sure to, keep in contact with him, like, okay, I'm heading here next. Where are you? Watching him on the map to make sure we didn't, embarrassingly
Maybe
cross.
just in the bus, passing
Yeah,
each other in the bus.
yeah,
Hey.
do a high five on the way. But it was nice. So I hung out and did, just
No food challenges this day?
no food challenges this day. Gave my digestive system a little break.
We're like, we're
So
gonna eat a little more variety today.
yes, I did do, which I love, the fruit and Nutella waffle at Sleepy Hollow.
Mm,
So I did that. I found a table facing the castle. It was, first thing in the morning. Um, but it was beautiful. It was still like, I think Magic Kingdom opened at 9 that day. So by the time I rope drop Animal Kingdom and then got to, did those rising and got to Magic Kingdom, it was, you know, they were they were just opening. So it wasn't super crowded yet. I had my waffle and watching the sun kind of rise, and the being there in the morning, it's like you can hear like the ducks a little more. You hear like you could the water. It was breezy. It was like the world is just starting to warm up, and it was just I sat there with my fruit and Nutella waffle and just loved life and relaxed. So
that sounds like a perfect start to a day.
it really was. And I was thinking I could do this every day. Like, could you imagine, like, if you live down there? I know so many listeners do live down there and they have that opportunity. Like, if you don't have to be at work until a certain time, like, why would you not start your day there just have breakfast there every day?
Yeah. Or someplace. Yeah, it would be so tempting to be in the parks all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so you did Animal Kingdom, then you did Magic Kingdom, then
Uh-huh.
where did you go?
I did Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, and then I did go to Epcot after that.
But they were already gone because that's
They
when it
Yes,
started.
yep, they had gone. I think they were headed back to Magic Kingdom at that point. So I, aborted the mission of Magic Kingdom and popped over and let them have it. And yeah, I did that. And then I think I just wandered around for a little bit. I think I did Living with the Land, maybe Spaceship Earth, just some light stuff, and then popped over to Studios because they were heading back to Epcot. So I popped to Studios. Um, and so they were meeting in the evening to catch the bus to go back to the airport.
Mm.
So Ben and I decided at that point to meet back at Magic Kingdom. And so he did, said goodbye to his friends, and he went. And I think he did. He took a little time to himself to get to Magic Kingdom and like walked around a little bit. He got himself a frozen Coke and over at Westward Ho, and I think he did enjoy a little bit of alone time walking around the park. So he did that, and then the two of us met up. We had a reservation at Liberty Tree,
Mhm.
which I knew he would love.
I have
He
never been there.
No, it's Thanksgiving. It's delicious.
But
It's
this is my problem. Like I'm a picky Thanksgiving. Like I like my Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Like I like my stuffing.
Uh-huh.
Like I mean, turkey's turkey. I like my grape. Like I hate green bean casserole. I know it's
Well,
terrible, but
that's not one of those on there,
I know,
so
but like everybody. But anyway,
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like I know I should try it one of these days. But
yeah.
so
One
you
day
two,
when you're there,
what
no.
did you think?
We love it there. We absolutely love it there. There's just so you get turkey, you get like a pot roast, there's pork, there's, mashed potatoes, green beans, stuffing, um, cranberry. It's delicious, and it's comfort food, and
Mhm.
it's stuff that we're really familiar with. And for some reason, he loves Thanksgiving dinner to where he'll make himself some stovetop and grab some cranberry and have that for a snack.
I love
So
it. That's
he's
great.
yeah, so he's a Thanksgiving kid. So I knew that, yeah, we'd enjoy that one. It's, not one of the harder ones to get into. Yeah, we did that, but he really the couple days with these guys and being out until midnight and then rope dropping in the mornings, it was taking effect. So he was getting tired. But that day I had done individual lightning lanes for Mine Train and Tron. So I'm like, all right, buddy, you got like hold on until Tron. Once we're done Tron, then we'll go back. So we had dinner and then did the rides. I mean, he was struggling to stay awake, and it's funny because the ride photo for Mine Train, it must have blinked when it took the picture, but he looks like he's sound asleep on the ride, which I said is perfect for the
How you
it's
were feeling. Yeah.
yeah, for how he was feeling. And he's got his own senior trip coming up at the end of the month, and I know it's gonna be just as wild for him.
Where are they going?
They're going to Disney again. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he'll be in Disney again. So
Wow, lucky
yeah.
kid.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's a little burnout with it right now, which I'm hoping will fade with time, and he'll return as a Disney adult because he's
Yeah.
finally just like, I'm good. Like, and I've explained, this right now is the time with your friends, and it's nice that you're familiar. And for him, it takes no thought. He
Mhm.
doesn't have to look at maps and figure out where he's going. He knows what to do, where to go, how to find it. So I said it'll be nice to just be with your friends and kind of lead them in places that you've known your entire life.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's great.
yeah, yeah, it
All
was
right,
great.
so did you stay for fireworks or did you call it a
We
night?
did not, and that was one of the reasons that I decided to hop back over Friday night to catch them, just for me to see them because I knew it was going to be late, and he had we had, I think they picked us up. I can't even remember. It was like 4:50 in the morning that we had
Oh,
mirrors on Sunday morning. So I knew we needed to get back. We needed to get to sleep. So we got it. We finished Tron and hightailed it out of there and, showered and relaxed and went to bed early. Because it was a very, very early morning. They picked us up. Our flight was at 7, and they picked us up. I mean, it might even have been like 4 in the morning that they picked us up, because we were way too early. Thankfully,
We
because
were
when
supposed to
we
do that.
got there, which I didn't expect at 5 o'clock in the morning, MCO was completely mobbed. There
Oh,
were senior trips leaving out of, from the Floridian kids that were in groups that you could tell. There were kids leaving Disney. There were families going on spring break. It was a madhouse at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I was glad to get there early. We got breakfast. We got there, checked in, we got breakfast, and we're able to just sit at the gate and relax. So the original plan was to have more park time on Sunday and come home Sunday evening. But once the kids decided to have one last soccer season with his team, there was a game at noon. So we had to be home. So I switched, and it was nice because I think I saved like $10 per flight by switching it to the earlier time. And we got to the airport, and we had we're on the plane. Things are going great, as they noticed that there was it looked like some engine damage. Like they said a bird had flown into the engine, probably on the incoming flight. So we were grounded until they could figure out and make sure there was no trouble. So we sat on the plane for, I think, 2 hours
ooh,
waiting to leave. We finally got clearance. And at this point, my boyfriend we lived together. So he was picking us up to, from the airport when we got home. And at this point, we knew that gap between getting home from the airport and getting to the game, there was no time. So Ben had his bag packed. Scott grabbed the soccer stuff, threw it in the van, came and got us from the airport. We fly into Philly, so we're on, I-95 heading up to soccer, and Ben's in the back of the van getting dressed in his uniform. And so we made it right on time to soccer. And and his friends that had just arrived the night before from senior trip were all there and exhausted. So they won somehow, even though they had all.
how they do with all those tired kids. But
Yeah, they did great. I think it was like a 4-1 win, and
wow, that's great.
you could tell like Ben was exhausted. And at that point, I was thankful that we did drive straight from the airport, because he was under the impression that he would come home, get his car, and drive up and play soccer and drive home. And because of the move, his soccer team is a good half hour, 40 minutes away. So I was thankful at that point that he was able to rest in the back seat and, be driven or chauffeured home to where he finally got to shower and hit bed and, rest up to get back to school, where all his friends had just been in school. Like the friends down here had all been in school for the week. And here he's on adventure senior trip number 1.
That's amazing. Well, good for him. What a great opportunity in particular when you have kind of your original set of friends and you don't want to lose that
Yeah.
connection. So good for you for making
So
it happen. And your solo time sounded amazing too.
it was, yeah.
What a special trip. One you always remember.
Yeah, it was definitely fantastic. And to be able to know, this, like doing things like Topolino's with Ben and making sure we did, certain couple of rides, and we stopped and got our picture in front of the castle, and knowing that, this will sustain me until I can come back with him. I'll be back, but until the next time I can get back with him, it was making those mental notes in that to really enjoy my time with him and know that, college is coming. I don't know when he'll be back with me.
I know. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, I know.
Let's not talk about it.
It's hard.
Well, Aimee, thank you so much for spending time with us. That's such a unique trip and so special for both you and him, and together and separate and the whole 9 yards. So
such a whirlwind.
it really sounds like, that's a quick trip too, but we fit it all in. So that is incredible. And I really appreciate you telling us all about it. So
sure.
Typically at this part of the show, we do quacking up the ducks. But those are really dad jokes. And since there's two ladies on the show tonight, we decided we're not quacking anybody up. So the boys will have to come in with extra jokes next show to make up for it, because without them here, I get to make the rules.
I like it.
I just want to remind everyone, if you liked this, if you like our show, please go out and give us a review on your podcatcher of choice, and please join our Facebook group, because this is where we get to ask questions. Like if you have a follow-up question about any of the corn items, I'm sure Aimee would be happy to answer them. But thank you so much for your time, Aimee. I really
Sure.
appreciate
Thanks so much for having me. This is fun.
it. It was a lot of fun to hear about your trip. So thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye, friends.
Sure.